So then we are back with more understandings from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find the Aramaic English translation of the word, and this translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Tzayelic lineage. So then we can understand the time of the end as per Yeshayahu the prophet. We find layers of understanding of the spring feast, the autumn feast, and also the returning of the cities of the Messiah laid waste for many centuries. As we read then Yeshayahu the prophet, we always make mention of this great prophet because it gives us many aspects of the Holy Torah and the prophets, and also the coming of the Messiah, his birth, and the time where then there was 1,000 years of the Messiah and 1,000 years of deceit, plus gives us then the autumn feast and post-autumn feast. There is a section in Revelation, or then Galah, where you find then a section related with those who can buy and those they can do trade versus those who can't. So let's try to make this clear, because as we understand the holy instructions in sections of Galah, Revelation, then we realize China already dominates more than 50% of the world's trade by itself. So China is very powerful. So we are speaking then of a period of Dragonic period. Simply means what it means. This truly is the time where we are at, where trade then is used and recorded via computer. So then, as far as people not able to get products or doing e-trade or receiving, it's merely of their own choices. So then, as far as the mark of the beast, there is absolutely no doubt, as far as the holy instructions of God, He separated the holy Shabat, or the seventh day, as the day of rest. Any person doing any other than this day, then obviously a person has a mark. But as far as trade and buying and then having for sale and so on and so forth is related with the Dragonic period. It's not a point where you can't do trade. You can do trading any way you want. The situation is when China establishes worldwide e-trade, or the trade via computer, any other way other than China's would be not as much profitable. You can have any other systems, you can have your product sold by your own hands. But the situation is, the new system is so handy. It's easier for any kind of company of linking up, for instance, with the Chinese Alibaba, and instantly having thousands upon thousands of customers watching the products instantly. So you are going to say then, as far as not able to buy or not able to have it for sale because of some sort of the mark of the beast, it does not make any sense. So then, people sometimes, when they don't spend time reading and studying, when people sometimes they have a hard time, sometimes lack a bit of knowledge. Back a few years ago, some 25 years ago, it wasn't even heard of as far as e-trade. Computers were not even invented. So the natural fact of the situation is, based from where they were at, they were projecting of the existing place where they were at, but further in the future, with some sort of a religious tone in it, and they concocted theories based from the period of time where they were at. But the truth of the situation is, we have computers today, and we can do trade via computer. So then we link with Daniel, where he stated knowledge would increase by the end of the 1,000 years of deceit, indicating the new system of trade, because Daniel was the trader. He worked under many kings. Now, you have a choice of linking up yourself with the system or not. But it does not mean that a person, that has some sort of trade next block over there, some sort of a convenience store that you won't be able to get or buy. It's explaining those people who are linked with the system, investing in the system, investing on products, paying people, is a whole lot handier to do this way via the Chinese system than any other way. Now, when this situation of buying and not buying came around, they mixed up with the mark of the beast. Now, back in old times, for instance, during the time of Rome and during the time where they changed the laws, understandably, they had a hold and grip as far as buying because had taxes being involved. So ever since those old times, people are always making mention of this new system based from the control that Rome had at that time. But it doesn't relate with the time of the future, because we understand any person can buy. So we have then absolutely tried to update our own data, because we know China is coming up very strongly in the next couple of years. And the world is going to get linked up with China, liking it or not. Now, people, they can make a choice. They can link themselves up with this system where they can have at least double of the returns than using regular banks, for instance. Now, they can have this choice. Now, explain that people won't be able to buy in the future, it is crazy. It is absolutely crazy, because the system is showing otherwise. So then when we read, for instance, in Revelation, as far as those with the mark of the beast, they can buy or trade, those were during the times of Rome. Because they had the control of those people coming in, they had control of those who were buying and having trade and so on and so forth. And those people who were Hebrews, for instance, they truly had a hard time, because they could not at times having their own trade, and they could not buy or having trade amongst those, either among the Hebrews themselves or then doing a service for the city. But in not today's world. In today's world is not the same as before. So some of the theories that these people had projected in the future, because those who have the mark of the beast, they can buy or having trade. The fact of this understanding is those who had the mark of the beast, or then those who were involved with the changes of the holy instructions, meaning Rome, those were then the people favored on having buying, having trade, because they were doing already what was wrong. So as far as the future of the people and the chosen people has nothing to do with what Rome then was doing back then. And China is never against Israel. China is on behalf of Israel. However, there is a new system coming up where then when we read the holy instructions, we understand the important factor is people can buy, they can have trade. And it's done via computer. Now certainly the situation regarding then those people who have the mark of the beast, there is absolutely no question that the seventh day that God instituted, the shabat or the seventh day, is then the day that should be set aside for resting. If people do otherwise, then they obviously have the mark of those who changed the holy instructions for their own behalf, or for their own pleasures. So then China is dominating the market of the world, and they are not going to be concerned with what those are going to become part of the system and those who are not. There is not such a crazy worldwide system and is going to make a choice. This person can go online and buy and the other person can't. It's simply ridiculous. So please stay tuned. Much more coming up.